Good evening. It is October 3rd. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission for the City of Louisville. We will go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we do have a quorum present.
Make sure your mics are
Can you hear me?
pointed towards you. Yeah,
Oh.
you're a little hard to hear.
Sorry. Okay. Better? Perfect. Okay. We will, first item on the agenda is approving the minutes from the September 5th meeting. Do I have any comments from any commissioners, or do I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve as presented.
Okay. Motion by James.
I'll second.
Second by John. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we will move on to agenda item number 3, the public hearing consent agenda plats. We have 2 consent agenda plats on the agenda tonight. The consent agenda plats are submitted for approval with no variances requested, or the variances have been previously approved by the City Council. We are going to read both at the same time, and then we will open the public hearing. Item A is a public hearing for final plat of South Village Edition, lots 2R1 and 2R2, Block A, on a .759 acre tract of land out of the J.K. King Survey, abstract number 696, zoned Old Town Mixed Use District 2, located on the west side of South Mill Street, approximately 170 feet south of Elm Street, being a replat of South Village Edition, Lot 2R, Block A. Item B is a public hearing for a final plat of Riverview Industrial Park Edition, Lot 3R, Block A, on a 10.437 acre tract of land out of the William King Survey, abstract number 697, zoned Heavy Industrial District, located on the southwest corner of Stonewall Drive and Jubilee Drive, being a replat of Riverview Industrial Park Edition, all of Lot 3 and a portion of Lot 4, Block A.
Good evening, Commissioners. Staff has reviewed the 2 plats and they have met all requirements set forth in the General Development Ordinance. Staff recommends approval.
Okay. With that, we will open the public hearing. If you wish to speak on items 3A or B, please come forward, sign in and state your name. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Commissioners, do I have any comments, questions, or a motion?
Motion to approve as is.
Okay, motion by William. Second by Mary Ellen. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to agenda item 4, public hearings. We have 3 public hearings tonight. We will read each one individually, and then we will open the public hearing for that individual item. First public hearing is going to be a consideration of a special use permit for a communication tower on approximately 0.911 acres, legally described as Lot 1R, Block A of the Fox I-35E addition, located on the southwest corner of Fox Avenue and the I-35E frontage road, as requested by Brian Sullivan of EcoSite, Inc., on behalf of Jay Rimnick of Highland Lakes, Inc., the property owner.
Commissioners, special use permit regulations adopted in 2013 required that all communication towers must be granted a special use permit. EcoSite is proposing a new wireless telecommunication facility behind existing gas station on the southwest corner of Fox Avenue and 35 East. This new tower will help strengthen signal along the 35 corridor and will maintain E911 services, which are used to tie physical locations to emergency calls. Per Louisville requirements, all monopoles must have a 3-to-1 distance to height ratio from single-family and 2-family zone lots. This proposed monopole is 775 approximate feet from the nearest single-family zoning. As a part of the SUP application, the applicant has provided a photographic simulation to show the tower in relation to the area surrounding it. As you can see here that in location 1, the tower is not visible. Here we can see where the tower will be, and then the photo Can you see this up on your screens?
No.
No.
No, we can't see them.
I'm just trying to see if it's in the packet that we got.
It is a part of the packet.
Okay. Oh, wait. Now it's working.
Okay.
I see the photo now.
Okay.
There we go. Awesome.
So the simulation shows where it is in relation, and this is available in the packet, which is on the Louisville website.
These illustrations start on page 40 of your packet.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there an illustration of what the tower is going to look like itself?
Yes. Well, moving on, the current proposed site has an area of 12,036 square feet. The proposed 100-foot tall monopole, the site will feature a 100-foot tall monopole, an 8x5 equipment pad, and a 10 by 15-foot parking space. An additional 10 by 15-foot area will be reserved for future carrier equipment. As a part of the SUP application, the applicant has agreed to plant 5 additional trees on the site. The facility itself will be surrounded with an 8-foot tall wrought iron fence, and the fence will be surrounded by 54 holly shrubs, which will surround the fence, providing a live screening. Staff recommends approval of the special use permit. The applicant is present this evening and has a presentation to give to the committee.
Thank you, John. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the commission. My name is Bebb Francis, 112 East Pecan in San Antonio. I'm the attorney for EcoSite, which is a national developer of telecommunication facilities. Excuse me, allergies have gotten me. First and foremost, I want to thank Richard and John and Teresa and your development review committee. Just a tremendous group to work with, and as I told Teresa, I wish I could clone them and put them around the state because they have done such a thorough job in working with us to provide you with what we believe is an exciting opportunity. With me this evening is John Gatz. John is the project manager for EcoSite, along with Deshant Shaw, who will visit with you in a minute to explain to you why this tower is so important to resolve a significant gap in T-Mobile's wireless service. And the reason there is a significant gap, as John, how do I advance it? As you certainly know, Louisville is growing. As members of the community, as members of this commission, you are experiencing a significant growth in your community through new jobs, relocations, younger generations moving in, which is all very exciting for this area, but with it creates a significant demand on the wireless systems. These numbers are a little bit dated, but they were presented by an FCC commissioner because she was stunned by the sheer volume of wireless devices that we are using. And in fact, within the last couple of months, the government has come out with a study that says for the very first time, there are more wireless devices than there are men, women, and children in the United States. There are 1.2 wireless devices for all of us. So how does that interplay with the portion of your community that we're talking about? Well, the average Louisville household now has at least 5 wireless devices. If you think about your own situation, the number of smartphones you may have, the number of tablets, wireless routers, smart security systems, smart thermostat systems, all of this is so highly dependent upon wireless connectivity. And you overlay that, the fact that now over 50% of residences have cut the cord. They are free of cable connection, wired connection, and are totally wireless dependent. But most critical, and this has been driven home to us in such a dramatic way with the Harvey, Irma situation, with the hurricanes and then the horrific tragedy this past weekend is the E911 connectivity. Right now, between 85 and 90% of E911 calls are placed by wireless devices. That connectivity, especially in the households and within the mobile vehicles like the cars that Deshant will mention to you, is so critical. Also, as critical is the reverse E911 function. That's where your phones go off in the middle of the night, alerting you to either a natural disaster, man-made disaster. Again, you have to have that connectivity to be able to receive those. Back in February, San Antonio got hit with 6 tornadoes simultaneously at one time. For the first time, our phones went off, but for the first time, the message to us was, take cover. We would not have received that message if we would have been one of those households that have to go outside to place a call or receive data. Public safety is such on the forefront of so much for us right now. Additionally, with communities growing like Louisville, like we're talking about, new members of your community coming in, the Internet of Things is so critical. New residents and all of us are demanding Alexis, Echo features, smart thermostats. We're requiring smart security systems that you can control by your wireless devices. And for my generation, it's so critical is the new features of wireless medical devices. And for example, my best friend has a cardiac condition. And about a year ago, his doctor was way ahead of the curve and told Milo, download an app on your Apple phone, iPhone, which he did, and he purchased a box about this big. And when he feels an event coming on, he opens the app, places 2 fingers on the box, and sends a rudimentary EKG wirelessly to the clinic or the hospital. Ironically, the doctor was way ahead of his time because if you turn on the television, you may have already seen the ads. They're selling the boxes now, volume across. There's such that demand for the connectivity. Now, your city is grabbing it and you're taking control of it. As noted in your Louisville Texan Journal, the city develops a dashboard to track performance. You're on the forefront of your applications. You have encouraging your citizens to stay in touch, download these apps so that you can be in contact with the city through mobile applications. You have your Louisville Citizen Alert System, again, which has been driven home to us over the past events as so critical. Now, as we were discussing earlier, Richard and I were discussing, it used to be that the cities across the state, their Facebook and Twitter pages were more of a social page where you go and see what's happening this weekend. Is there a fun event to go to? But what we learned in Harvey is that when people were not able to get through to 911 because of the sheer congestion, in Houston, Harris County, Conroe, they resorted to posting help notices, their addresses on the city's Facebook pages. For example, your Twitter page, and Richard and I were talking, you have over 5,500 followers. You're having your citizens reach out and engage with you. But again, it's so dependent on that connectivity and as we proceed on for the E911 service. Louisville Independent School District has an amazing program, as you know, through the use of iPads or iMacs or other Chromebooks. Each student is connected, and statements like the iPad provides mobile access to a device that allows students to not only access information, but to create content at school or critically at home. But again, that student has to have connectivity at his or her house. You have, again, they have the Google Apps applications. Central Elementary, close to this site, has the connectivity for the Twitter feed and Facebook. Now, the site plans John went through with you, respecting your time, I just want to touch on some critical features. This is the overall site plan for the actual telecommunication footprint. It is designed to accommodate a total of 3 wireless providers. T-Mobile will be the first provider, and immediately EcoSite will go out and solicit and contact AT&T, Verizon, Sprint to come in and co-locate on this tower to prevent the continuing proliferation of towers. As was mentioned by John, we've worked hard with your city to design an attractive site. Over 50 holly bushes will be placed at a minimum 3-foot height at planting. Again, in working with Richard and his staff, the EcoSite team will be installing 5 2.5-inch caliber trees that meet your code requirements. We'll be working with your team to decide what species is the best. This is just a profile of the wrought iron fence. It's an attractive 8-foot wrought iron fence as opposed to the chain link fence you often see, again, showing that EcoSite working closely with your team. And I just want to back up on one feature. If you'll notice, the access gate is unusual. Instead of just being a swinging, ugly gate, we have worked again closely with your design review committee to design a retracting gate. It will move back and move forward, so it won't disrupt the view and look of the compound and interfere with the access. Madam Chair, you asked about the profile of the tower. The tower is designed, as I mentioned, to accommodate 3 wireless providers. T-Mobile will take the top 100-foot rad center, if you would, to accomplish what Deshaun Shaw will discuss with you, the need to resolve the gap. Again, it highlights the location of the fencing, the wrought iron picket fencing, and the initial location of the equipment shelters and racks for T-Mobile. Now, I'd like to ask Deshaun Shaw to come up and address you all. Deshaun is radio frequency engineer who will explain to you why this is so significant, why the gap exists, and how this tower will resolve the gap.
My name is Deshaun Shah. I work for T-Mobile 7668 Warren Parkway, Frisco, Texas. Well, T-Mobile is a national wireless service provider, and we're in the business of providing wireless service to our customers. So the reason I'm here is because we have what we think is a significant gap in coverage in Louisville. And what we think it's going to help us is this particular wireless facility, which we are proposing on the intersection of Fox and Interstate 35 East. I'll go through a couple of plots and then I'll try to reason out why we need this. This is the first plot. It shows the coverage of our existing facilities. There are 2 colors, green and, well, gray. Green is where we think we have good in-building coverage, where you can be anywhere inside your house and you still have some kind of wireless signal where you can make a phone call or you can make some kind of video download or messaging, whatever you want to do. If you're in the gray area, that's where we think we don't have strong in-building coverage. It could be inside your vehicle or at your window, but we cannot guarantee that you are anywhere in your house and you still have coverage. The reason we are here and why DA 03509 is what we call it, this facility is important to us because it not only improves existing in-building coverage for us, but it also strengthens our coverage on Interstate 35 East, which I believe about 200,000 cars pass through 35 East every day. And that's a lot of traffic. And one reason is where we are also constrained on capacity. That's another reason we are here. If you see the clover leaves that we have, the blue triangles, those are our existing facilities, and a couple of them around Interstate 35, they're already congested. And this particular facility will help relieve traffic on it. So if I go to the next page, this is what the new facility brings us. It not only provides enough capacity to offload our existing facilities, which are to the west and south of our proposed wireless facility, but also provide additional coverage on east side of 35, where there's a lot of residences. I think there's a school. I'm not sure if it's a high school but there's a school right east off of 35 on, it's not Fox Road, but off of Fox Road. So it's going to not only provide good coverage, it also provides enough capacity relief on our neighboring sites where, if there's congestion and if there's users trying to access the network, we'll have additional facility, additional capacity so that they don't have to go through, times of slow downloads, or even to make a call, they have to wait, or the calls just don't go through. So that's one of the main reasons we are here. And I'll hand it back to Ben.
Thank you, Deshaun. T-Mobile has also provided staff with a letter from Deshaun explaining that the search ring that they required the tower to be located in, they looked at it. There are no existing facilities upon which to co-locate. There are no existing towers within the search ring, so that this is the only feasible alternative, if you would, is the application for this new tower. As part of the study over the last year in designing and locating this tower, the EcoSite team has reviewed all available properties within the red circle, which is the search ring. And in fact, Richard and I previously, through another case and site, had looked at several of these properties. Just to kind of go through the color code, the red, as you obviously know, are the residential properties which you prohibit the location of telecommunication towers. The green are the PU, public use districts, the two on the east side, and then are, again, prohibit telecommunication towers. 3 is multifamily. It's kind of the mustard color. That zoning, as you know, being on the commission, prohibit the placement of telecommunication towers. 4 to the southwest is a church facility. It is zoned R75. A tower could not meet the setbacks, and again, that zoning prohibits telecommunication towers. We'll step over 5 for a second, but 6 is the park. Again, the park is PU, district public use, prohibiting telecommunication facilities. And 7, kind of the gray area tucked in by the mustard color 3 multifamily district, as you're familiar, is a retention facility, which because of engineering, you would not be able to construct the tower within the retention facility. The blue area are the general business areas. Richard and I, in previous case, had looked closely at the shopping centers, both to the northwest of the facility. There is no space in which to place the tower, the compound, the equipment. Across the highway, again, there is no space to be able to place a telecommunication facility. To the east, that is again, the landlord was contacted, was not interested in leasing for a telecommunication facility. So over the past year and through previous working with the city, this site is the only feasible facility available. As the courts have said, for a telecommunication facility to be appropriate, it has to be what we call the ABLES. It's going to be leasable, buildable, developable, and utilities available. We just wanted to highlight one point, even though I'm sure your city attorney has spoken with you about this. In your decision-making process, radio frequency emissions are not to be considered, but I did want to share with you some information, and I'm being a visual person, I always rely on this chart. This chart shows what they call megawatts per square centimeter. On the left is the allowable federal government limit of 580 megawatts per centimeter. And as we go to the right, you see things that we are in touch with daily, if not hourly. You have the police and fire emergency communications. You have wireless home phones if you have them. You have baby monitors. You have wireless routers. And then on the right is 0.1 megawatts per square centimeter compared to the maximum federal of 580 megawatts per centimeter. Finally, just a couple of quotes. The World Health Organization has found that there's no correlation between emissions from mobile towers and public health. The one that I find the most interesting is a former health communications specialist at Johns Hopkins, one of the premier medical facilities. And this gentleman states that cell towers emit less radiation than sunlight and are absolutely safe. Finally, the American Cancer Society and the USDA have also had similar statements. They have extensive studies on radio frequency emission. Madam Chair, members of the Commission, we respectfully request your approval of this special use permit. We feel like we have met the specific requirements of your code. We have worked closely with your team. We appreciate their staff recommendation. We believe that we comply not only with your code requirements, but also with the Federal Telecommunication Act of showing that there is a significant gap in the service, how this tower will resolve the gap, and that after extensive review of properties, this is the only feasible site. So we, again, appreciate working with your team, and we respectfully request your approval, and we look forward to any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions?
I have a couple.
James?
Is this supported by an on-site generator? And if so, is it natural gas or propane?
Let me ask John Gatz, who is the senior
Okay.
project manager that will be responsible for the project.
Yes, Mr. Davis. My name is John Gatz. I'm Senior Project Manager for EcoSite. My address is 4227 Cuesta Drive, Irving, Texas. And initially, no, there will not be, although there is space available for one, should that need arise in the future. And if so, we would, of course, bring that over for approval and for appropriate building permits. So we would adhere to whatever restrictions that the city would place on us for that. And if we did put one in, it would be to the benefit of all the carriers. So you wouldn't see a proliferation of generators inside the compound.
Okay.
Does this require backhaul landline facilities?
T-Mobile will be installing a fiber in order to go ahead and send the signals back to their master computer system, which routes calls all over the United States. So yes, there will be that.
Okay, and my last question. For maintenance, will you have to block a street for trucks or anything when you do actual maintenance on the tower?
We need one parking space in order to go ahead and maintain the site. That's done on a monthly basis, not only from an EcoSite standpoint, but from the carriers as well. So there is a monthly maintenance cycle that it goes through to make sure that it's operating properly. And the most obstruction that you would see is during the construction phase when we actually flew the tower and stacked it. So we would have a couple of cranes available for that.
And is the signal propagation equal? I mean, is it like a 360 circle, or is it maybe unidirectional, one direction or anything?
Yeah, no, the antennas that they utilize on these have a span of 60 to 90 degrees. So they go out unidirectionally, but there's 3 sectors. And so that covers the 360-degree spectrum.
All right, thank you, John.
You're welcome.
I have a question about, in my notes, it said that you're going to have to remove an existing driveway.
Would that be
The existing driveway will be removed to accommodate the proposed facility.
that, let me go back if I may, Commissioner.
It's coming off of Fox. And there's a couple of little businesses. In fact, I think there's a hotel and an insurance agent back in there.
The existing driveway that they're talking about is, if you look at the site plan that we have, this is the survey. You'll see if I can, does that show up on there? Yes. That is the existing driveway off of the access easement. That is, and that only services the filling station.
Oh, okay.
And
It
that's,
does not
so
take
that
care of
is
those
the
businesses?
part of our landlord's property, and that will be part of the lease compound. It doesn't service any other property except the convenience store.
Thank you.
And if I may, Mr. Davis, the one parking space is within the compound. So we adjusted the equipment location to make sure, and there's the parking space, and worked closely with the design committee to make sure that we have that parking space and would not intrude on any access.
Thank you, Mr. Francis.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Any further questions?
Is there irrigation outlined for these shrubs and new trees?
Irrigation system for that, I believe there are, John, is that required or?
That would be required as part of the landscaping.
Will,
Yeah,
Thanks.
that'll be put inside the building permit plans.
and in working on and this is, we really appreciate working with Richard on the location of these 5 additional that are not required, but we felt like as a team, it would help beautify that corner of the filling station and then down on the corner right off Fox, and working with your team and picking the species, but it has a minimum of 2.5 caliper. So we look forward to working with that to make sure that meets the requirements.
Okay, any further questions? Okay,
Thank you for your questions.
All right, well, with that,
I'm sorry.
we will go ahead and open the public hearing. If there's anyone here who wishes to speak on this item, please come forward, sign in, state your name and your address, and
Hello. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and member of the council. I will try to speak slowly so that you can understand me. I've not done this before, but my name is Paul Amerson. I own the building, address 873 South Stemmons Freeway, Louisville, Texas 75067. I bought this building in January 2014 from the insurance company. The insurance company used to own that building, and I bought it from them. I am a concerned citizen and a resident of Louisville, and I'm a business owner, and I have 80 people, 80 employees working for me. And I've been in business for more than 20 years. I have 4 major concerns regarding this tower that these people want to build. The first thing is safety. Where they want to build this communication tower is just a small piece of land, a small piece of land. I own the biggest land in that area. The biggest property, I own it there. Where they want to build a small piece of land, the Chevron gas station is there, and that small piece of land is at the back of Chevron gas station. I have my employee that come and go. I'm really concerned about their safety. That's number 1. Number 2, there are surrounding hotels in that area, so there is flow of traffic going up and down there. Number 2. Number 3, I have students, because there is adjacent school in that area. We have little children that walk, because I saw them every day walking on my property. And now building this tower, I think it's not safe for those children. Then that Chevron gas station has a small restaurant that they have a drive-through. And for them to put a tower and a drive-through just close. I don't know whether you guys have been over there, but I saw this every day. for the drive-through and a tower to be there is dangerous. I don't think it's the right place for them to put a communication tower. I received a letter from Echo site beginning of this year. My own instinct that, no, this is wrong. I have a big land on my property that I can give them. But I said, no, this is not right. That's why I didn't even listen to them. The second reason, apart from safety, is a health reason. I did Google about communication tower. Yes, the FCC have not reached a conclusion. What I saw on the internet is that whether there's a health reason, it can cause cancer or not, they have not reached that conclusion. So I'm not going to focus on the health reason because the FCC have not reached conclusion. So I'm not worried about that. Now, my own property, I'm concerned about my property. I pay taxes every year, and I know how much I pay on that building. This tower will devalue my property. I don't want, I pray that the council will agree with me that when they build that tower, it can devalue my own property and other surrounding property there. It can devalue their property. Now, I hear the expert here talking about their construction. Commissioner James asked about construction. Maybe it's going to cause trouble or something there. Yes, it will. Because when they are constructing that highway, it causes a lot of traffic problem. I don't know where they will park their construction vehicle because the gas station will still be operating. So I don't know where they want to put their construction vehicle. So this will affect my own business. And I don't want that to, I know you serve T-Mobile and other stuff. I think they can take their construction tower to a rural area and build it there, not in the center where businesses are there and children are working. And I have my own employees that are going up and down. And this will affect my business because some of my employees, when they see that, they want to quit, that they're not going to work there. So my plea is for the council to please turn them down. Turn them down. They have power to get all these attorneys and other stuff. I don't have it, just a small businessman. I don't have money to get an attorney or to do all this, what they did here. But please, come to my property because I'm there every day. The piece of land, just a small piece of land, they want to put this thing. And that will affect so many lives there. That's all what I have, my honor, please. Thank you.
Are there any, before you get up, are there any other citizens here to speak on this item? Okay, go ahead. So actually, at this point, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. We will give the applicant a chance to respond to the comments, and then we will move into discussion amongst the commissioners.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. In reference to the first concern, the safety of the tower, these towers are over-designed so that they don't fall down. What they do in the case of a catastrophic failure is they fold in onto themselves. And the purpose of that is to keep it within the lease area that we have provided for it. We can actually take a 100-foot tower and we can design it so that it crumples down to as little as 15 feet. In some instances, 10 feet. And we can go ahead and assure that at the city council hearing by providing a engineering letter from the company that's going to be supplying the tower, which is Valmont Industries. And we're having that prepared right now. So we'll have that ready when the city council meets. The second is for the staging of the equipment in order to build this tower. We don't bring all of the equipment out at the same time. And before that we do bring the equipment out, we sit down with the owner of the property and we discuss the pre-staging requirements in order to keep it out of the street, in order to keep it out of other people's property. The property that we're actually leasing for this is over 75 feet long. So plenty of room to go ahead and park a small bulldozer in order to grind up and level out the property, enough room to go ahead and pull the crane in order to go ahead and fly the tower, for the cement truck in order to go ahead and pour the foundation. So we work really well with the neighborhood and with the neighbors to make sure that we don't inconvenience them, because that doesn't make us a good neighbor. And so we make sure, we have a 30-year lease. We want to be there for 30-plus years. And we're not able to accomplish that on a nationwide basis by going in and upsetting people on the first day that we show up. As far as the children walking to and from the school, you've seen in the plans that this is going to be designed so that it's more artistic than the ability to go ahead and climb over it and get into the area. So with the way that we're securing the site, I don't foresee a problem on that. And truthfully, we haven't seen a problem on any site design like this. Chain links obviously pose a significant threat. And so going with board-on-board technology, with the wrought iron technology, with putting the plants around it and so forth, I think we've went ahead and adequately addressed that. And if you have no further questions, I thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, commissioners, discussion? Anybody have anything?
I guess the only other thing would just be assuring you're not going to disturb, your neighbors during the construction piece, right? The way that I'm familiar with the property, so you're going to stage on the far south side of the property, I guess.
Joe.
Is that right? I mean, you're not going to impede anybody from getting access to their property, right?
No, normally what they'll do is they'll go ahead and they'll secure the site before they close up for the day. If there is a concern about noise pollution during the construction process, we've had situations set up before where the city has said, okay, well, you can't start working until 9 o'clock and you have to finish before 5. And that way everybody has a chance to go in and access all the parking spots and everything. And we're able to pull out before everybody has to go home.
And you know, there's not going to be any impediment to the neighbors of getting in and out to their office?
No,
Okay.
no, not at all.
Okay, this is a tough one. I feel like this is, I definitely echo some of the concerns that have been voiced about it being a very small area, and there is somewhat what I would consider to be a limited access right off there, off of Fox, with some of those hotels back there. Having said that, I just don't know what the alternative is. It sounds like the applicant has done plenty of due diligence on locating this tower, and there's just not a whole lot of options of a place for it to go. I guess my only question would be to the applicant, could you just explain to us what would happen if this site for some reason was not approved? What does that mean? We just don't get a tower to this, there's just a hole here and that's just the way it is?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you for asking that question. This site has been in the works for well over a year now in order to find the perfect property. In EcoSite's mindset, what we traditionally look for is a piece of property that we can lease a 50-foot by 50-foot lease area so that we can comfortably go in and give everybody room to spread out
and put the tower in and just basically have a real functioning type of a site that we can heavily market to the Sprints, the AT&Ts, the Verizons. And we have something really, really nice to offer them. This one, we gave them a really, really nice site, but we were able to have to scrunch it down a little bit, just basically because of the availability. Are there bigger pieces of property? Sure, but we weren't able to lease those because the landlords have different concepts of what they would like to do. And truthfully, something like this doesn't fit into a lot of people's building plans. So in this particular instance, given the time and effort that we put into it, we would have to do what we call as exhaust the site. And we would turn it back over and tell them we couldn't find anything. And then we go off to another section of the city or over to another city entirely.
So just to clarify though, if what you are saying is that there's a deficient, there's a deficiency in service in this area.
Yes.
And so you've exhausted efforts to fill that deficiency.
Yes.
If it's not this site, we're not going to be able to fill that coverage
Yes, ma'am,
deficiency.
that's true.
Yeah, I can answer that from T-Mobile's point of view. If this doesn't work out for this particular area, probably it will not be, as you saw in the search ring, there's a very limited options. In fact, 1 or 2 where we could put in, and this was only viable one. So if this doesn't work out, it won't work out in this area.
And so as we
It will be a
continue to
coverage
grow
cap.
it, the problem's just going to get worse.
Yes, it'll be a coverage cap.
Okay. Okay. Commissioners? Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I have a comment, though.
Comment? Okay.
My experience with cell sites in the industry I was in, this appears to be almost a Cadillac with the fencing and the type of tower. I assume it's going to be white, right? The pole? Just yell from there. White?
The monopole?
Yeah.
He told me to shout.
Yeah, just, it's okay, we're almost done.
Yeah, no, the monopole was going to be a galvanized steel. However, if you have a desire to see it painted white, we could always do that.
That's up to the city officials.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, my comments were that this appears to be, in my opinion, a very good proposal. And I would recommend approval for consideration of the special use permit.
Okay. With that, do I have a motion? Is that a motion, James?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion by James to approve.
Second.
Second by Mary Ellen. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Chairman Green, this item will be considered by the city council at a second public hearing for a final decision on Monday, November the 6th, 2017 at 7:00 p.m. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you.
I just want to say thank you, appreciate you giving us the opportunity to resolve this, and look forward to continuing working with your staff. Thank you.
Thanks.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
Are you looking at other locations throughout, like Louisville, Flower Mound?
Actually, I
That area?
have 2 other sites in the Louisville area. Flower Mound, we had a site, but we couldn't.
We don't care about them. No.
Yeah, I have 2 other sites that were in the process of being assigned to us that are in Louisville. And also, if the city has any property that you would like to see as a priority listing, to send me a list of the addresses for that. And I will get them before the RF Engineering to see if we can go ahead and maybe steer some of these over to the city coffers.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we will move on to public hearing item B. Item B is a consideration of a zone change request from heavy industrial to specific use, land use, or landfill accessory uses district on a 15-acre lot legally described as Lot 1, Block A, DFW Recycling and Disposal Facility Addition, located at 1600 South Railroad Street, as requested by Richard A. Dormier, Freeman Milliken, Inc., on behalf of Guy R. Campbell, Waste Management of Texas, Inc., the property owner.
Good evening, Commissioners. The request before you tonight is a zone change. The last time that this site had development activity, this type of use was allowed in the heavy industrial district. Since that time, the city has amended the zoning ordinance, and we only allow landfills or any accessory uses to landfills through these the specific use zoning process. That process requires that an engineering site plan be submitted as an exhibit to adequately cover all of the details associated with the use, buildings, its placement, its circulation, and the activities associated with the use on the site. What has triggered this is the fact that the applicant is trying to add on to some of the components in the site. This 15 acres kind of contains the operations, so to speak, of the landfill itself. Now, the landfill itself is still zoned heavy industrial to the east, but this site, like I said, contains 15 acres, and it contains the support facilities for the landfill. What is being proposed is an addition of about 1,900 square feet for a new break room, 1,770 square feet for a truck wash, 11,500 square feet for a service shop for the vehicles. The proposal's meeting all of our development standards as far as exterior materials, which are proposed to be 80% masonry. They're also meeting our requirements for landscaping and trees in the parking. With that, staff has reviewed the engineering site plan and has found that it meets all minimum standards in addition to those mentioned earlier. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the zone change request from heavy industrial district to specific use landfill accessory uses. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions, and I believe the applicant is present tonight to also answer any more detailed questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions? No? Okay. Thank you, Richard. All right, with that, we will go ahead and open the public hearing. If anyone wishes to speak on this item, please come forward. Okay, with no one coming forward, we will close the public hearing. Commissioners, do we have any discussion or questions, or do we have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Okay, motion by William,
A second.
second by John. All those in favor signify aye.
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 Motion carries.
Chairman Green, this item will be considered by the City Council at a second public hearing, and they'll be making a final decision on this item on Monday, November the 6th, 2017 at 7:00 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our final public hearing is going to be consideration of a special use permit for auto sales with outdoor display and minor automotive repair on approximately 4.14 acre tract of land, legally described as Lot 2, Block A, Thompson Addition, located on the south side of State Highway 121 Business, approximately 570 feet east of East Valley Ridge Boulevard, as requested by Greff Kaiser of Aztec on behalf of Mike Worley of L&L Auto Link, the business owner.
Commissioners, L&L Auto Link is requesting a special use permit for auto sales with outdoor display and minor automotive repair. L&L is a car dealership that offers minor automotive repairs and specializes in high-end used cars. It currently operates in Plano and is proposing to move to Louisville to expand to a larger site. The site itself is two buildings, a building that L&L will operate out of and a smaller building that L&L will lease out to a tenant. The main building is located on the east side of the lot. It is 25,000 square feet and 20 feet high. It features cream-colored brick, standing seam metal roof, a recessed cover main entrance, and two covered side entrances. 6 repair bays will be located on the south end of the building. The secondary building is on the west side of the lot. It is 12,000 square feet, and it mirrors the same brick and metal roof that is found on the main building. As a part of the SUP application, the applicant has doubled the landscape strip along Business 121 from 10 feet to 20 feet. Along the strip, they have proposed to provide 13 trees, which is 3 trees more than is required. They have also proposed to feature a low-profile monument sign surrounded by landscaping. They're providing 15 parking lot trees, which are double the amount required by ordinance. They are also keeping 36 of the existing trees that are found on the site. As I mentioned before, they have opted for a low-profile monument sign. City staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the approval of the proposed special use permit. Are there any questions?
Is this in line with the 2025 plan or the Business 121 corridor? Or is it out of that scope?
This site doesn't really fall within, it's just slightly outside of the TOD master plan. But as far as the 2025, it does fall within the employment centers area of the 2025. And I think in general, the improved aesthetics of the site also falls in line with the goals of the 2025 vision plan.
Thank you, Richard.
It would be am I correct to assume that this area is kind of intended to remain light industrial as it is now? Right, okay. And then also there's a lot of parking here. Are they gonna have overnight parking here?
So there'll be no overnight outside display of cars. They have only 6 proposed spots that will have outside display. They have made no indication of any overnight parking at this location.
Okay, this is a repair shop, right?
It is a dealership,
Oh, it's a
and so it's
dealership.
an indoor dealership.
Oh, okay. But they also have
They also
repair.
have minor repair.
Okay. I just was concerned about there being old broken down vehicles
Right.
just kind of sitting out in the parking lot.
The site plan has no outside storage proposed.
Okay.
The commission may want to make a condition just to reinforce that thought that the outside storage of a vehicle shall not be allowed on the site.
All right. All right, thank you. With that, we will go ahead and open the public hearing for this item. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward. All right, with no one moving forward, we will close public hearing. Commissioners, any further questions, comments, or?
I had one question.
Okay.
How many employees do you anticipate for this location?
I'm sorry, I don't have that information.
There'll be 6. Please come to the podium, please. Good evening. I'm Greg Kaiser with Aztec Commercial. There'll be 6 full-time employees at this site. The reason it's so big a building, because it is all indoor storage, which fits inside the light industrial. The main use of the special use permit is for the repair side of it.
And the outdoor parking then would handle the 6+ visitors?
No, sir. The reason we asked for 5 or 6 outside, just special use display during the day only. L&L's insurance and all restrictions, no outside storage.
So just daytime display of autos for sale?
Yeah, occasional, not even full-time display, occasional. If a new Ferrari comes in, they want to set it out there for a couple hours during the day is about it.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to recommend approval
Okay, and did you want to put any,
with the restriction that.
no outside storage?
Yes.
Okay, motion by James for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by William. All those in favor signify aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Chairman Green, this item will be considered by the city council at a second public hearing for a final decision on Monday, November the 6th, 2017 at 7:00 PM. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And with that, our last item is adjournment.
Move to adjourn?
Motion by Karen,
Second.
second by Mary Ellen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.